Chris Parry here with Equity Guru. Today's rant is on Medexus Pharma. PH in the pharma. It's not like, agriculture or anything. It's okay. Medexus, MDP is the ticker symbol. What I like about this company and what needs a bit of work. So on the what needs a bit of work side, if you're a regular reader, viewer of Equity Guru, you will have known that Medexus existed because we've talked about it a lot over the last 6 months. They've got a drug that's going through the FDA in terms of being approved in the US. It's already approved everywhere else in the world. It brings better patient outcomes than the options currently there. So all things look good, but getting through an FDA approval process is finicky. You don't dot the I and cross the T enough times. They come back and say more information needed. And on the biotech side of things, there's the usual biotech investor funnels their money into a thing and then waits. And then one morning, someone at the FDA scratches the back of their head and says, okay, and suddenly it's up like this. Because now you're approved to actually go into business, and business in the US with pills, it's good business. Or it goes like this, and one day someone at the FDA says, I don't like the font they're using, and boom, it's gone. So tricky business at the best of times. But most biotech companies, at least in Canada, one thing that they're all in on, right? It costs a lot to go through that FDA process. It takes a lot of knowledge to get the paperwork right, to make sure you don't screw up. And if you screw it up, well, there goes 2/3 of your market cap, right? Even if it's only a can you please give more information to us process. So anyway, MDP has a lot of other drugs in their portfolio. They're bringing in around $20 million a quarter, which is good, makes money. They poured a lot of money into this one drug that they're going through the FDA with, thinking that they were going to get an approval, doing a little pre-marketing for it, and the delay kind of screwed them over. So they blew some cash. They have plenty of cash left, and they generate plenty of cash through their other IP. But everyone was focused on this one deal that it's going to come when it comes, the moon. And the delay has made them an oversold stock. Well, anyway, so in September, when this thing went from like $3.30 down to $1, we said, everybody, stop what you're doing. Take a look at the fundamentals here. This is a company that is generating $80 million US per year on the existing drugs that it has. It makes no sense for it to drop 2/3 because one drug process was delayed by 6 months. That's just stupidity, right? That's the market saying, I'm more interested in other things than reading this lengthy press release. So now here we are. We said late September, early October, we said, keep an eye on Medexus. Forget the FDA process altogether. That could take however long it takes, but it is irrelevant. That process right now is something that does not guide the future of this company. What guides the future of this company is revenue. Now, the company has another asset, gliosulfin is what it's called, which is something they've just got the license to sell into the US market. It's already in the US market. It already generates income. So they can project based on that what sort of income boost is going to come from gliosulfin. And lo and behold, they're looking at about $27 million a quarter now. So you're looking at about $28 million US extra per year just on the predictions of the next quarter. So this becomes now $100 million plus US revenue company, right? $100 million plus. Now, if I'm looking at Medexus right now and I'm looking at their, let's say, market cap is $35 million Canadian. This is a $100 million annually revenue company, potentially going much higher, that is a market cap of 35 million Canadian. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. So why would Medexus be here? Well, this is what's called the market being stupid, right? This is Moneyball. The market sees a negative piece of information in an FDA process and says, I'm out, I'm gone, I got no more patience for this. Look, there's some mushroom stocks or an esports stock or something else I can put my money into, I'm out. And he's not looking at the actual underlying value of the company or the products that it is actually selling right now. A $35 million market cap company that does $100 million plus annually projected revenue doesn't make any sense unless you've got hundreds of millions of dollars of debt tied into this thing. So, and that ain't the case, right? There's so the company has available to it a credit facility of $25 million, but it also has cash in the bank and it is generating revenue. This is a healthy looking company in a healthy sector that if you add that FDA process finally getting approved to it, it's lights out. This is bonkers. So what people are seeing this now, and we've been saying it now for the last month, and people are starting to catch on. So this thing's gone from 90 cents per share, and it has traded upwards to about $1.40 until a few days ago, where the company put out its projections for revenue for the remaining for the next quarter, and it jumped up overnight to $2.20. Right now, it sunk back down a little bit, back to $1.80, and people are taking their money, as you would expect. But to go from 90 cents to $1.80 in a month, that's a healthy thing for me. Like, I like where that's going. And we've seen it before with this stock. When it goes up hard. Unfortunately, the way biotech works, I keep referring to it as biotech. It's not, it's medtech. All right, I get those two confused a little bit because I kind of don't really see the line between them. But they're very focused on this being a pharmaceuticals company and not a biotech company. Biotech indicates that your FDA process is like, this is a brand new thing and we're going to prove that it works, and hopefully the FDA agrees. This isn't what this is. This is taking an existing product that is approved in many places around the world and getting it approved in the US as well. Now, the FDA process for changing a label, if you want to change the font on a label of ibuprofen, it can take you 1.5 years to get the approval from the FDA. Like, it's no joke. This thing, even if you were to say, we found that our drug might harm people, it's going to take you a long time to get the FDA to turn over and sleep and acknowledge you. So, if you're dependent on that FDA process, any delay is a bad thing. It's generally a sign of death. But when you're just going through this reclassification side of things, right, when you're showing evidence that's already been put through clinical trials, and they're asking for more evidence from that you have at hand, you don't have to go back and do trials again, waste a lot of money. You're just getting the existing data that you already have and saying, oh, you want this too? Okay. Anyway, I'm running off at the mouth here. My point is, Medexus is a pharmaceutical company with an existing range of pharmaceuticals that generates about $85 million a year, is now pushing towards 100, and if treosulfan gets approved, then you're going to see a massive spike on that. So I would look at what's happened over the last month and figure this thing is still way undervalued. Like, one quarter of revenue is the equivalent of their market cap. Like, that does not make any sense. Buy this thing. By all means, have a look, see what you think, and if you agree with me that a $30 million market cap on a company that does around $30 million Canadian in revenues per quarter and looks to be projecting higher than that, if you think that makes sense, then I'm a Dutchman. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. I think that this thing should definitely be trending upwards. Even though it's been on a real hard tear for the last month, I would anticipate that when you see those next quarter of revenues, you're going to really be interested in what's happening here. And realistically, how long do you have to wait? It's the 3rd of November as I speak, and on the 8th of November, the next quarter results are gone. I would be silly, I think, to not be grabbing a little bit of even at this elevated price from a month ago. I think that at this market cap, with the revenues that they're about to announce, with the revenues that they've projected, and with the potential to chuck treosulfan on top of that, at any point over the next 3-6 months, the FDA could say, yeah, we're good with treosulfan, let's get this thing on the market. And Lord knows, now we're into some real business. I love these kinds of deals because this is a real Moneyball deal. The market has left the building on this one. The market has ignored the fundamentals and gone with the headline and said, we're out, which allows people like you and me to come back to it and say, listen, dog, see you later. Thanks for the cheap stock, but I'm prepared to wait 5 days and see where this thing rolls out. This is the moment for Medexus fans. This is the moment for people who look at this and say, this just doesn't make any sense. I'm in. After the 8th, you're going to be fighting it out with everybody else. But before those results go out, assuming that their projections are right, this is still way oversold and a big opportunity. And I love being a partner with them on the marketing side of things, because, man, you love it when you can talk about a good deal that's doing good in the world and that is just a no-brainer. MDP is the ticker symbol. Subscribe.